Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now October 31st of 2022, and that means we are only months away from the release of The Mandalorian Season 3, which by the way is slated to drop around February 22nd of next year. We don't have all that much longer until a teaser trailer and a full-length trailer is actually going to be put out. We already got a small teaser of a teaser, so to speak, but they really are trying to ramp up the marketing by this holiday season. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe between George, John, and Dave is that they are all set and ready to make some pretty big announcements at next year's Celebration event, as well as the Disney executives regrouping by the end of this year to really finalize their plans for the roadmap of the Star Wars universe, essentially. Now that brings us to where we are right now. Now, a lot of fans have been very curious as to exactly what's been going on with the new Star Wars universe as a whole. Now, given that Favreau has openly stated before a couple of weeks ago that what he would like to do is that he would like to end The Mandalorian at a Season 6, but only if so, Season 4 proves to be successful. So it's all dependent on that. However, that does not stop Favreau and Filoni from illustrating and from creating storyboards and finalizing those boards to be used in future seasons of The Mandalorian. Now, with that being said, what's extremely exciting here about what Favreau has recently put together for the new Star Wars universe has a lot to do with some of the key fan favorite characters of the Skywalker saga. Now, given that many new Star Wars TV shows are actively in the works, creators John and Dave are getting ready to make some big announcements at next year's Celebration event. Now, it's noted that currently Favreau and Filoni are planning something substantial for a new Mandoverse project that is set to introduce a big Dark Empire moment in the Star Wars live-action series. As of now, John and Dave have finalized a storyboard that is set to be used at some point in the future seasons of Mandalorian. John and Dave are trying to figure out on if they want to implement this into Mando 4 or a potential season that comes after. However, the scene is said to involve both young Luke and young Palpatine fighting each other in a lightsaber duel inside of a cloning facility that was hidden away over in the Outer Rim. Now, this is said and planned to be a moment in which Skywalker finds Palpatine's plans of cloning himself and comes across a young, perfected version of Sidious, the only one of his kind that was a rare completion. One of the illustrations, however, involves both Luke and young Sidious clashing sabers with tons of broken cloning chambers in the background, with failed clones of Palpatine laying on the floor between their battle. Now, let me just stop right here for a second. So, for those of you that are very unaware, in Dark Empire, we have a moment where Luke basically sets out to destroy all of the young Palpatine clones, but misses one, and the Sith Spirit enters that one body. In this scenario, you can see how John is switching things up a little bit. There is only one young Palpatine clone in existence. Meanwhile, the others are all failed clones lying dead on the floor. Now, what I like about this is that the stakes are raised for Palpatine. Palpatine can't just jump from body to body. This is the only young clone of his that is said to have worked in the current canon. And then, basically what they're setting up is that they're trying to make it mainstream and familiar for fans and known that in The Rise of Skywalker, Palpatine is a clone. They're trying to make that as known as possible. So, the thing that Favreau is doing here too, that really does raise a lot of questions, is exactly what will Palpatine look like, specifically as a young clone of himself. We already know what Palpatine looks like in Dark Empire when he's young, around the age of 35 years old, is exactly how young Palpatine is slated to be. Now, this is where things pick up that gives you a better idea of what Sidious is going to look like in a future Mandalorian season. Again, this is most likely catered to Mando 4, 5 and or 6, depending on how far they plan to go. This illustration, this storyboard is finalized. They are going to be using it in the Mandalorian show at some point. So, actor Bill Skarsgård is set to portray the young version of Palpatine in an upcoming Mandalorian episode that John and Dave want to insert into The Mandalorian 4 and or 5. The only way a 5th season will happen, however, is, like I say, if 4 proves to be successful, as John confirmed. In this battle, Luke himself is set to defeat Sidious, where his Sith spirit escapes and is nowhere to be found. This is to set up the lore of how Luke finds out about Rey Palpatine and how his spirit survived after their duel. Now, this is the major decision by John and Dave, is that they are really trying to take elements from Dark Empire. And in this storyboard that they recently finalized, basically Palpatine has blonde hair, slicked back. He's very young, around the age of 35, wearing a black coat-like type of attire, with the collar actually bent upward. Very much like what we saw in the Dark Empire comics. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and check out the Dark Empire book covers, and you'll get a glimpse at what young Palpatine looks like. In fact, I'll try to remember to put it up in this video. But when you look at Palpatine in that sense, there's so much potential of what they could really draw from. Now, we already know that Bill Skarsgård is slated for the Circle of the Wills anthology show. That's also going to feature the original young version of Palpatine, like before Episode 1. This, however, they are planning to bring Bill back again for a second show. That's going to be the clone of Palpatine, essentially. Now, we already know that John confirmed about maybe 8 months ago, when he was giving that interview about cloning, that cloning is going to be a very big theme, or big subject, for The Mandalorian as a show. So keep in mind that cloning is going to be a big deal for the Mandalorian series. And that just goes to show you that this ties directly in with what Jon Favreau confirmed. Now, the thing about this too, is that young Luke and young Palpatine are going to face off. I can't stress this enough. I think that this could very well and easily go down as the best lightsaber duel in Star Wars history, under 2 conditions. If it's executed well, and number 2, if they get the right music to go along with this actual fight. If they can give us some kind of John Williams theme from the prequel trilogy era, or something similar, I think it's going to really go off the charts. I really do. And I'm very excited to, actually see everything just forming. You can see what they're trying to do with Mando Season 3. They want to create this struggle with the whole Mandalore setting, which, by the way, we'll talk about that a little bit later in another post. But everything is coming in line here. Everything is beginning to form, and you can see how John and Dave are really trying to create a reputation. They're really trying to create something truly special for the Star Wars fandom, and I could not be more excited. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.